Supply and demand, Chapter 4. We're going to start out with what demand and supply is. Demand is the buyers, and supply is the sellers. The more people want something, the more they demand it. The more the demand, the more the supply. An example would be the North Face jackets. Buyers are demanding these for the cold winters, while suppliers are supplying them in North Face stores. Then we have markets. Markets are a group of buyers and sellers in a particular good or service. A good would be an iPhone, while a service would be AT&T. There are 3 different types of markets: monopolistic, oligopoly, and monopoly. In monopolistic markets, there are many competitors, there are independent decisions, increased entrepreneur risk, differentiated products, no barriers to entry or exit. Examples include restaurants like People's Park and Champs, hair salons, bakeries, and any other small business. Oligopolies have few firms. Interdependence, when a firm operating in a market with just a few competitors must take potential reaction to its closest rivals when making decisions. They need strategy. It's extremely important. They must anticipate the response of rivals in change of price and non-price activity, and natural and artificial barriers to entry. Examples would be TV networks such as DirecTV and Time Warner Cable, airlines as Delta and Southwest, car dealerships of Ford and Mazda, and gas stations of BP and Shell. Monopolies are single suppliers. They hold 25% or more of the market. They have government status. They use patents, and there are no substitutes, such as the United States Postal Service. Demand, with law of demand, demand is the buyers must be willing and able to purchase a good or service. The demand is the amount that they are willing to purchase. The law of demand states when price increases, demand will decrease. When price decreases, demand will increase. Here's the demand graph showing price and quantity. At a low price of $3, people will demand to buy more t-shirts. At a price of $9, people will demand less because of the price being so high. We then have demand shifts. This is an increase in demand. The variables go with the number of factors: an income increase, increase of substitute price, and a fall of a complement price. The new line is the new demand. At the same price, the new demand, with the demand shift to the right, increases the quantity demanded. Demand shift decrease is when there's less income. Good purchased is a normal good. Decrease in substitute price. Increase in complement price. The new line of a demand, the shift to the left, shows how at the same price the quantity demanded decreases. Goods, normal versus inferior. Normal goods is an increase in demand when there is an increase in income, such like name brand incomes. Use these goods when you make more money. Then you have inferior goods, which is a decrease in demand when increase in income, more off-brands. An example is ketchup. A normal good would be the Heinz brand name ketchup. An inferior good would be the Target brand or off-brand ketchup. Other example would be going out for pizza versus a frozen pizza, or a Toyota versus a BMW. Substitutes versus complements. Substitutes are a product or service that is the same or similar to another product, but if they are substitutes, like Pepsi and Coke, if the demand of Pepsi increases, then the price of Coke will increase. Complements are a good or service that is used with one another, like hot dogs and hot dog buns. Next is supply. Supply is the amount of good or service sellers are willing and able to sell. The law of supply, if the price of a good or service increases, the quantity will increase and vice versa. If we have books at $5, people will buy 15 books. But if we increase the price to $10, they will increase to 50 books. Shifts in supply curves have the variables of input prices, technology, expectations about the future, and numbers of sellers. A decrease in supply would be a shift left. At the same price, the quantity demanded would decrease. In an increase in supply, a shift right. At the same price, the quantity demanded would increase. Variables include input prices, technology, expectations about the future, and number of sellers. Equilibrium is when in a market the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded equal. At this point is the equilibrium. We then have the equilibrium price, which is the price of a good or service at the equilibrium, or the market clearing price. And at this point is the equilibrium quantity. Quantity demanded is at the equilibrium. We have supply, surplus, and shortage. A surplus is when more products and services are supplied than they are demanded. A shortage is when more products or services are demanded than supplied. At the equilibrium price of $5, if we put a price at $10, we have a surplus. At the equilibrium price of $5, but we have a price of $3, we have a shortage. The green dots represent the quantity demanded, while the blue dots represent the quantity supplied, as they are not equal. Finally, there's shifts versus movements. A shift is when there's a change in supply or a change in demand, if it was a demand curve, versus a movement is just a movement along the curve from point 1 to point 2, either demand or supply.